I've been playing a lot of metroidvania games, and you're going to be getting kind of a string of reviews on them over the next week or two. But first, I got to pick up on one that I completed a while back, but never got around to talking to. Hollow Knight, possibly the current exemplar of the metroidvania genre. If you're not overly familiar with the term, it was codified originally by the Metroid franchise and then it later by the Castlevania franchise, becoming the other best known example of it. Initially, sort of becoming this in the 16-bit and then into the PS1 and 64 era. That it's a large map. There's going to be a lot of backtracking, but you backtrack because you've gained new abilities, so you can access new areas as you fill out this map in a 2D space. And I quite enjoy them. I mean, like, I'm a veteran of Super Metroid from back on the Super Nintendo, so yeah, I enjoy them. Hollow Knight is quite good. It's got quite the reputation at this point, and I think it's well earned. First of all, visually, it's stunning. The standard mode of visualization for a lot of Metroidvanias is pixel art, partially to evoke the older era from which a lot of the classics of the genre come from, but also partially, I expect, because the alternative is a lot more work. And this is the alternative, which is gorgeous hand-drawn 2D animations. That's not easy. That's a lot of work. And not to downgrade pixel art. Pixel art's a lot of work too, especially if we gotta make it look good. But like this, so it's gorgeous. First of all, it's very moody. It's atmospheric. To call it a dark story, I mean, I guess in the sense that it kind of takes some of its story cues from Dark Souls, in that you are largely moving your way through a world that has already fallen, and you're dealing with figures and creatures and places that whatever was their grand time is long in the past. You're just sort of scuttling about the remains of this civilization. And you can engage with the story of these people and these rulers, these legendary figures, etc., as much or as little as you want. You can ignore the story completely and just work your way through killing everything you need to kill, or you can really dig into people's backgrounds and stories. And the game does kind of encourage you to do that through achievements and stuff like that. But one of the big things about a Metroidvania is having the movement be just nailed down. And this is like the movement abilities and the intuitiveness of it and how easily it just flows and kind of becomes second nature is really borderline seamless. I definitely, of the Metroidvanias I'm going to be reviewing over the next couple weeks, this one controls the best. Now, some of the others have either small quirks that make them control not as well, or they actually, in some cases, made deliberate choices to not quite control as cleanly, but I'll get to that when I get to them. This is going for smooth, seamless use of the controls, the platforming, the combat, so that it feels like if something goes wrong and you die, it's not because the controls failed you, it's because you aren't good enough. You have all the tools, and the tools work consistently, phenomenally. So if you dash into an enemy that then just slices your health in half, well, that's your fault for dodging the wrong way. So it's kind of got that feel of you have all the tools to make this work. You got to get good, as the cliche is. But it's an entertaining game to get good at, and it's quite rewarding. The exploration does manage to balance it very well, because I can be really picky about explorative games, because I have a limited tolerance for when I flat out feel like I don't know where I'm supposed to go. That at this point, and you can blame ADHD, or it can just be a case of I just don't have that kind of time to waste anymore. But there are two kinds of things that will send me to a walkthrough in general. A puzzle where it's unclear to me what it's even asking from me. This might be a neurodivergent thing, but sometimes like a puzzle will show up in a game and I'm like, I can tell this is a puzzle. I have no idea what it wants me to do. I have no idea what it considers a win, what beating this puzzle means. So I'll look up a walkthrough, no shame. The other time is when I legitimately do not know where I'm supposed to go. And one way to alleviate that with Metroidvanias, especially if they are not tedious to control and work your way around, is just that general sense of, well, go to the map screen. What areas does there appear to be more to that you haven't gotten to yet? And as you acquire new traversal abilities, just see if you can get there yet. And if you can pull that off, again, primarily if the actual act of moving about and platforming and all that is still fun to do in and of itself, I don't mind just kind of browsing around, trying to figure out, have I been here? Have I been there? Can I get there yet? I think there was only once or twice that I checked a walkthrough, and it was because I was at a point where I really didn't know if I was just using a traversal ability wrong and I should be able to get past something that was getting me stuck, or if I legitimately was just in the wrong part of the map and I needed to be somewhere else. And I didn't want to start going about hunting all over the map with that nagging idea that I was where I was supposed to be and just didn't know what I was doing. So like I did that a couple of times, but for how long I played this thing, only a couple of instances of that, that's solid for me. Visual motif, in addition, again, to being gorgeously animated, is very insect focused. You're playing an insect. This was an insect civilization. Most of the enemies are insects, the bosses are, etc. So that, again, sort of lends to the overall kind of everything's fallen apart feel because, you know, only the insects are left and even their civilization has gone to pieces. So it really lends to that. But there's kind of a friendliness to the art style a lot of times, which I like because I feel like when the melancholy tone or the sense of everything's gone to hell is too oppressive, it just gets to the point where I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't even bother playing this because everything's clearly already just screwed. And nothing's going to make it better. Not that I necessarily need to feel like I'm making the world better to play a game, but like when it's so completely gone, I'm like, I don't want to spend time here. But, you know, there were enough little glimmers of light, of lighter moments. Some of the characters are honestly kind of funny even. And little moments like that will keep me engaged and keep me going with something. Whereas if it goes more hardcore oppressive, yeah, I am more likely to bail on that kind of situation. So this really just balances all its elements quite well. And it really did encourage me to honestly keep playing even after beating it the first time, not just for other endings, which I've gotten a couple of, but also like I know that there's more stuff to uncover. There's more of the grubs to find. There's more lore to unlock. And I just kind of wanted to do it because it gave me a reason to stay in this world. It's not that like I was super deep into the lore personally. I've said before, I'm not that big of a lore hound, but looking for more lore gave me a reason to keep playing. And I was more than happy to do that. This game is not super new. It's been around for a little while yet, but I think this is right now the benchmark for Metroidvania games, especially hand-drawn animated ones. The game's gorgeous. It plays really well. It's frustrating at just the right level where you want to get better so that you can take out something that's been driving you crazy and just feel that, oh, good, I got you, you son of a... And it's just a good feeling. This gave me that. Hollow Knight. If you played it, what did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and is what enables me to be able to afford games and have the time to stream them and all that other sort of stuff. So any amount you can help me out there is of great assistance, but even if you can't, don't worry too much about it. The like, share, subscribe also help me out, and you can just come on back next time you need a break. Well, it's Patreon supporter shout-out time, folks, so thank you to Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfulla, Tarak, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Oliver B., Angus Bjarnason, Linda Walters, Emu Delki, Theotha Boyd, Toy Lowly, Becky Spark, Vernabilax the Poodle, Zach, Tracy Scrabbit, General Contact Unit Problem Child, Angry Casperl, Tim Price, Adam R.D.L. Taylor,
Shayla Gourlay, and Brendan LaRose. Thanks so much for your help. You can get your name read out too. Check out the rewards in the Patreon. Is that what they should do? Should they check the Patreon?